In this video, we're going to be looking at a clash of the titans between Qatar Airways and Singapore Airlines. We're going to be taking a good look at the check-in, the seats, the service, the food, and the entertainment. So let's jump on board and get started. First things first, let's talk check-in. Both airlines, I've always had 5 out of 5 experiences with both of them, whether it's at their home airports or outstations around the world. Both of them also support priority lanes for status holders as well. Talking of status card holders, those travelling with either of these two airlines will benefit from their extensive lounge networks around the world. Qatar Airways are a leading member of the One World Alliance and Singapore Airlines a member of the Star Alliance. For me, the One World lounges are amongst the best in the world, so Qatar will get just ahead in this regard. Now, for everyone travelling, the most important bit, of course, is going to be what the experience is like on board, particularly with the economy environment getting smaller and smaller in this day and age. Well, the good news is with either of these two carriers, in terms of space, it really is as much as you can expect from economy today. I'm going to start with Qatar Airways across a couple of different aircraft. This one is one of their brand new economies on board their 787-900. I was a big fan of this seat. You can see some of the additional legroom available just there in front of my knees. For reference, I'm around 180 centimetres tall. It's not shown in this particular clip. The seats were fully charging enabled and there were air vents across the top of the cabin as well. That said, if you are looking to fly with Qatar Airways, my recommendation would be to always try to get on board one of their A380s and get a seat at the upper cabin right at the rear. This is where they have the seats laid out in a slightly more generous 2-4-2 configuration, and certainly for my money, if you are looking to fly economy with Qatar Airways, this is really as good as it gets, despite this seat being a little bit older. So how does that compare to Singapore Airlines? Well, this is on board one of their newer A350s. For me, seats a little bit slimmer, and certainly in terms of the feel whilst I was in them, it did feel that little bit more tucked up, even though the layouts are broadly the same. That said, incredibly modern in terms of the seat features and also plenty of legroom as shown in this particular slot. Certainly for me, in terms of the seats on both airlines, very comparable. Singapore also have the layout with the A380 with some economy seats in the back on certain A380 aircraft, so certainly do be on the lookout for those. These seats, just like the Qatar fleet, were very much power enabled, and there were also lighting across the top of the cabin, but on this particular aircraft, no air vents, but you do see this change a little bit across the industry. On the entertainment front, this is certainly a strong suit for both airlines. I was particularly impressed by the quality of the external cameras on that 787 recent trip with Qatar Airways. You can check out my full review on my channel as well. That was over from Copenhagen through to Doha. Plenty of choice as part of the entertainment system. That's right the way across the fleet, and actually by economy standards, I was very impressed just recently with the quality of the headphones on one particular flight over from Bangkok. Of course, onboard entertainment extends just beyond the seatback entertainment screen nowadays, and Wi-Fi is very important indeed. I particularly like the free 1-hour messaging plan across all cabins with Qatar Airways. This is a very nice touch. There's then a range of different options to upgrade from there. So what about Singapore Airlines on the entertainment front? Well, they have the legendary Chris World flying experience. This is one of the best entertainment systems I've come across, certainly plenty of choice, so they definitely match Qatar Airways in that regard, if not being slightly ahead. On the Wi-Fi front, they actually offer their status members a range of different perks. I thought this was a really nice touch. I haven't seen this on any of the One World carriers. Beyond that, as before, a very similar pricing model for the additional elements. On the food front, it's very much worth saying that both airlines offer a very comprehensive choice and would certainly be leaders within the economy segment. With Qatar Airways, as is quite the regularity in this day and age, there's generally speaking a main service on a long to medium haul type of flight, and then a smaller snack service to follow up. Let's take a look at both of those for now. This was a far more a main meal type of selection, nicely presented. Certainly by economy standards, this would very much be industry leading, and here is one of the smaller snack selections typically served just before landing. When it comes to the service, this is certainly an area that both airlines very much pride themselves in. Really impressed over the years with the service from both airlines. It is perhaps worth saying that Singapore Airlines do tend to win the Cabin Crew of the Year award through Skytrax, and they are known to be very slightly ahead in this particular area. In terms of the food offering from Singapore, again, very strong. I have been told through the fantastic community of viewers that watch my channel that they have cut back very slightly in this regard, and there was ever so slightly an air of cost cutting with the recent flights that I've done with them. That said, again, a strong selection and very tasty all around. Perhaps in terms of service, 1 point here to Singapore Airlines, and in terms of the food, Qatar very slightly ahead. So whether you're looking for glitzy economy bathrooms or iconic industry touches, both airlines offer an awful lot. For me, in terms of who's best, it really does come down to which loyalty program that you're on. Qatar Airways is very much the crown jewel of the One World Alliance, and Singapore Airlines very much likewise within the Star Alliance. If you're looking to climb the ranks with either program, that for me would be my recommendation of who to go with. If you don't have loyalty to either, honestly, it should just come down to price. Both airlines do something a little bit better than the other, but they both do the basics incredibly well, as this clip no doubt has shown. Thank you, as ever, so much for watching. Very much looking forward to welcome you on board another review really soon.